Well, a new poll shows one Democrat surging in popularity, now becoming the favorite to win the party's 2028 nomination for president. That poll from Gallup found that 25% of Democrats now support California Governor Gavin Newsom to lead the party in 2028. That is a 9-point advantage over the number 2 candidate, which is former Transportation Secretary Pete Buttigieg, and a 14-point edge over former Vice President Kamala Harris. And get this, in a hypothetical matchup with J.D. Vance as the Republican candidate, Newsom and Vance deadlocked at 44%, while 12% said that they were undecided. And Emily, another thing in this I thought was interesting, if you look at the support for Kamala Harris, it has really slid. That is down 13%, from 13% to 11% from June to this month. When this last poll was taken, it was released on Friday. So the Democrats are really backing away from her.
What's interesting is, and I don't want to oversimplify this, but we have all noticed the governor inserting himself into national politics and creating and making headlines for himself, while Kamala has sort of disappeared after she announced that she would not be seeking the governorship election in California. So this might be simply a top of mind, top of vote in this poll. I do note, however, because this alarms me, that the president of the poll of Emerson College came out and saying, look, he rose 12% with voters under 30, 18% with voters over 70, and double-digit increases with both white and black voters. Why does this alarm me? Because as a Californian that suffered in San Francisco under his mayoral watch and under his gubernatorial watch, I know firsthand that he is just a snake oil salesman. He is just all talk and sort of this weaselly, like looking good, shiny object while everything falls apart under his watch. And so I am terrified that, similar to a Mamdani, his shtick and his segments that get air and his poking at Trump and all of the things, while not actually governing, will somehow catapult him to the top. But I console myself with telling myself that it's still just 3 years away.
It's something so interesting to look at, though, because they're asking about real issues, Tom. There's a couple of things. Also, they found 0% of Democrats, 0% of Democrats are satisfied. 0% are satisfied with where their party is right now, the current direction of the country. 76% of Republicans say they're satisfied. So I think that's really interesting. The other thing, too, I saw here was when it came to redistricting, and this is the same Gallup poll, or Emerson College poll, 56% of voters said in California it was a bad idea to do redistricting. So it's a bad idea to do redistricting, but yet you're still supporting the governor of California. That doesn't add up to me.
Yes. And, a lot of stuff doesn't add up, especially that, those numbers that are so low with Democrats. A lot of panels I talk on here on Fox News, we talk about the Democrats. They are so down. I mean, no one likes the Democrats anymore. But that is because they're so dispirited. When you see those numbers that are so low, it's because so many of them can't believe Trump is president again. They're so dispirited. They think, why didn't we win? That's why they're unhappy with the Democrats. They're not unhappy with their policies. So this is to say someone like Gavin Newsom is dangerous, okay? Because the smartest thing that Mitt Romney ever said, I didn't agree with Mitt Romney on anything except this 47%. Remember when he got in trouble? Because he said 47% of the country will never vote for a Republican. He's right. They've got 47 locked in. And if somebody can convince the country that they are a centrist, even if they're not, if they can play the game and if they're good at podcasting and their hair looks good, all you need is 3% as a Democrat. So I'm saying to Republicans, watch out. Gavin is more dangerous than you think.
And that Zohra Mamdani, that is a perfect example, who's currently running for mayor of New York City. Alicia.
Well, I went back, because this is about the primaries. That's what we're talking about here. We're talking about primary voters. So I went back to early voting from 2016, right, and found this headline from Business Insider. Quote, the mind-blowing turnaround in Donald Trump's poll numbers explains why he's blowing everyone out of the water. So at that point, then candidate Trump had been leading for 5 months in a row, right? This article was written in December of 2015. This was right before the primaries. This is right when people were going to get activated and start working. We are 2 years and 4 months-ish from primaries for 2028. So Gavin Newsom finds himself in this poll. Maybe it makes him happy, but he also finds himself with a very long runway where he's popping right now, to your point, for a reason, a lot of attention, right? He's got a lot of runway where he has to keep that connection with voters for an incredibly long time or fizzle out.
You know, also, too, Nicole, the other thing here, I keep looking back at the Fox voter analysis for 2024 and why people voted the way that they did, why Republicans are now controlling the White House and the House and the Senate. And it was because of immigration. It was because of the economy. It was because of crime. And all of those things are not what Gavin Newsom is talking about, yet he's their best hope right now. Makes me think the Democrats don't have a lot of hope.
They don't have a lot of hope. And I would say all of those points that you talked about are things that, in my opinion, Gavin Newsom has failed at for the state of California, and his positions are so loud. But Tom, you make a good point that he's trying to appear more like a centrist. And I think that in the country, you know, you're seeing people like Mamdani running in New York, and he is just so far, you know, a socialist. And I don't know that the country is comfortable with that as a whole for the Democratic Party. Maybe it works in New York, but probably not on a national level. But I think Gavin Newsom he's gaining popularity right now with the restructuring and trying to get, you know, more seats in California for the Democrats. But I would love to see a J.D. Vance and Gavin Newsom runoff, because I think J.D. Vance is solid, and I would like to see them go head to head. J.D. Vance is brilliant, and I think he could take them to school.
All right, well, we've got a little bit of runway before we get there. But yet, to your point about the midterms, here we go.
Hey, everyone, I'm Emily Campagno. Catch me and my co-hosts Harris Faulkner and Kaylee McEnany on Outnumbered every weekday at 12 p.m. Eastern, or set your DVR. Also, don't forget to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page for daily highlights.